on the Berkshire station and Royal Shrewsbury School on the Buckinghamshire station. So we've got 8 junior women's quadruple sculls races going on this morning. We've had 4. Of course, the winners from those were Marlow Rowing Club Warrington, Baltimore Rowing Club USA and Latimer Upper. So those 4 crews have already progressed through to the next round. So now we've got another matchup between Nottingham Rowing Club. Of course, we've already spoken at length about the strength of their programme, the Loughborough area. Obviously was coached by Claire Parnell. I'm not sure if she's still involved with the scene down there, but it'd be interesting to see how they get on today. They're always produced good crews, and then the Royal Shrewsbury School, coached by Athol Hundermark on the boys' side. And they had a couple of good athletes a few years ago, so they're off the start here. And I think it is Nottingham with a slight advantage as they went through the first 20 strokes, heading down past the iconic Temple Island. Nottingham, of course, I think I'd make slight favourite for this, Greg.
Yeah, I think Shrewsbury School will, without a shadow of a doubt, over the next 3 or 4 years, be producing some terrific teams, without a doubt, because girls are only really just going through the whole of the school now. So both of these crews have steered pretty well at the moment. Umpire hasn't had to get involved at all, which is just, I shouldn't have said that. Now he is telling Royal Shrewsbury School to move back to their station, and they've responded. But it looks to me that Nottingham are just a little bit ahead. They've got just a bit better rhythm at the moment, longer. Shrewsbury School trying to push it a bit, and that might be affecting the length of their stroke. And they're really trying to get back on level terms with Nottingham. But Nottingham sculling really quite beautifully and really got into their rhythm after the start, much the better of the 2 crews. And they've gone now to, it looks like a length lead as they've settled down into it. So we're just approaching what's known as the barrier, and it is Nottingham who've got over a length lead at the moment over Shrewsbury School. And it is looking as though Nottingham have this very comfortably in their pockets at the moment. The steering from both crews looking pretty good, but it was certainly just Nottingham are the more powerful of the 2 crews. But as I said, watch out for Shrewsbury School over the next 4 to 5 years, because they will, without a shadow of a doubt, be putting out some really good girls' crews.
Yeah, I think if we look at the crews, the discrepancy in the Shrewsbury boat is sort of more obvious to see than in the Nottingham boat. There's a bit of a catch placement discrepancy from the 2-seat in the Shrewsbury School crew, which is probably costing them time. But I think you're right, Greg. Your analysis is spot on as always. I think it is Nottingham Rowing Club who have this race fairly much sewn up. I'm never one to call a race finished before it is, but I think Nottingham demonstrating their power and their strength and their ability, moreover, on the Henley Women's Regatta course. And I think they'll be progressing through to the next round in impressive fashion. Of course, this is the junior women's quadruple sculls, the cup of which I am just looking up, so as to not be inaccurate. It is the B Langridge Trophy for junior women's quadruple sculls. So all the racing that's going on this morning they'll go through to another round of heats, quarterfinals this afternoon. And then tomorrow they'll be racing in semis, 4 crews. And then on the Sunday, they'll be racing in the final.
So we just had a lovely message to come in that has reminded both of us that we are really quite posh in the Thames Valley, and that it is Berkshire and not Berkshire. So apologies to all of those of you who come from Berkshire. We'll definitely get that correct. My co-commentator here, he's a very young chap and obviously didn't go to as good a school as Shipwreck. Anyway, back to this quad race, and as you can see, for the B Langridge Trophy, sponsored by the Cogan Foundation. It is very much, as we had described before, that Nottingham are dominating this race. Just some information about that last race that we didn't know what had happened. That was that pairs race between Glasgow University and that composite Oxford Union Reading. The news that we've got which is yet to be absolutely verified, is that Glasgow were disqualified for constant interference. So interesting. Anyway, back to the quads. This is the next race is one that we really want to watch, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, and the next race on the course is the second heat of the junior women's quadruple sculls. If we could just head back to the start, we can see what's going on up there. Yeah, fantastic drone shots there. We've got Glasgow Schools Rowing Club, who of course finished second at the National Schools Regatta, up against Northwich Rowing Club. But at the moment, it's developing into quite an impressive race. Northwich, I think, are the underdogs for this race, Greg, but they're not letting Glasgow Rowing Club go, are they?
No, they're not. But Glasgow, I have to say, are a class act. They really are. These four girls are, again, mentally and physically strong. So one would expect them to be leading this out, as they are. But it's all credit to Northwich. Northwich, another great rowing club that has come to the fore, even more so recently. There's some terrific coaching going on there. If you look at all of these races, the elite, the senior, the clubs, the universities, the schools, if you are old enough, Tom's not, but I am, to compare them to what was happening 10 years ago, the level of British rowing has just gone through the roof, and it's a real privilege and pleasure to be watching all of these crews today. Really, really well coached, and all by voluntary coaches. All the people that give up their Saturdays, their Sundays during the week to coach other people. And my hat's off to them. It's a terrific voluntary organisation. But as you can see, as we'd expected, Glasgow, who pushed Warrington hard in that National Schools final, they've gone out to about 2-3 lengths lead over Northwich. But you've got to say that, Tom, that both crews are sculling really, really well. And I'm definitely going to be watching these races unfold later on, because 1-to-1 really different from having 6 or 7 across.
Yeah, completely. Glasgow Schools Rowing Club looking like the dominant force in that. So we've moved on to the next race, which is the third heat, the junior women's quadruple sculls. On the Berkshire station. He's got it right on this occasion. The Berkshire station is the Isle of Ely Rowing Club Rob Roy Composite, so Cambridge boys, Cambridge girls, and Avon County on the Buckinghamshire station. So we should be in for an interesting race here. Certainly the composite I'm interested to see, because there was a crew from the Isle of Ely Rowing Club who competed in the junior women's quadruple sculls at the National Schools and had a pretty good race actually. I think they featured in the B final, which, as I'm sure you'll know, is no mean feat at junior women's sculling level. So it'll be interesting to see if they've strengthened by teaming up with scullers from Rob Roy, and it certainly looks that way as they come down the course. Those phenomenal drone shots with the beautiful Temple Meadows out to the right. It is the composite who have around 3/4 of a length on their opponents from Avon County. I think we're in for what looks like a pretty good showing from the composite crew, of course, Isle of Ely Rowing Club and Rob Roy. Cambridge born and bred. I'd be interested to see how they get on, Greg.
Yeah, just been given a note by Martin Unsworth. One way to remember, Tom, about the Berkshire thing, as Martin reminds us, it's the Berks from Berks. That's the way to remember it, if you've got that. Thanks for that, Martin. That's terrific. Well. So back to the racing, and it is that composite crew who are, again, you think about the steering. Steering is not easy, and what we don't have a knowledge of here is who is steering it, because it's not always the bow person. Because often in these side-by-side, it's actually the number 3 guy or girl that will steer. So as we're looking at that, if you're not so familiar with rowing, you number from the bow, as we're looking at, from the back of the boat. So the person at the back is the bow, or number 1, and then at the other end it's the stroke, or number 4. So often it'll be the number 3 person that gets to steer, and that means that they've got a rudder attached to one of their foot plates, left or right, and they use that to help them steer. If they've got any sense, of course, they'll also be shouting at their comrades to pull harder on the right or pull harder on the left. But that's the way they're steering. But it is this composite steering, sculling really, really neatly for a composite, because often they don't get the opportunity to go out together as much as some of the clubs do. But that doesn't seem to be the case here, because they are steering well and sculling well. So both of those. And well done too to Avon County. Again, one of those clubs, quite an old club, and terrific pedigree in days gone past, and really trying to, through their juniors, trying to push up again. And again, look at the sculling, terrific. So hats off, and really well done to all the coaches who have coached all of these crews today, because there is some terrific coaching going on, Tom.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the standard of sculling at a junior level is just improving year on year. Event upon event, it is really, really impressive. And actually looking at some of the results from the National Schools Regatta, Isle of Ely did finish second in the B final, with Avon County third. So perhaps that strengthening, that bringing in athletes from Rob Roy has paid dividends, because they actually look to be around a length up now on the Avon County girls. I've decided, made a decision, a conscious one, to not pronounce anything I'm not sure about from now on, because all my mistakes have been laid bare by my senior colleagues. So I've decided to refer to it as I'm told, do as I'm told for the rest of the day. But it is the composite crew who continue to scull away. I think around a length and a half now up on Avon County, and difficult to say the race is over, but I think from this stage it's going to take a monumental effort from Avon County to recoup that advantage.
It's not often you hear a young person saying that they're going to do as they're told, so well done, Tom. So we might go back to the start here, because it's local favourites, Henley Rowing Club, on the start line with one of the local schools, Pangbourne College. So there's Henley closest to us, and then it's Pangbourne, who look to have had the better start actually. In the Pangbourne boat, I think we've got the Gambioni twins, who were terrific at under 16, under 15 level, won a whole load of double races, and they're actually the crew that started off the better. Now, Henley, you should know better than this. You've got to get your steering sorted out a little bit, which they've done. Henley, just terrific club at the moment, producing, winning. They were the best club all school, Tom, at national schools. They gained more medals than any other school or club at the national schools.
10 gold medals.
Absolutely terrific. And they've come back at Pangbourne now a little bit, but it was their steering, which you wouldn't think you'd have from Henley, because they're on this stretch almost every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of a surprise, and I've just been told by Martin Unsworth, who's sitting behind us, that this Henley crew is not their top crew. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Obviously, Henley are famous for being strong throughout their ranks, and they're actually pulling alongside Pangbourne now, who had the better of the two starts. And I'd probably say from the drone footage, it's Henley who have the slight advantage now. So that's a really impressive push around 500 metres into the race. They obviously timed it well. And you can have, as we've already seen this morning, the start is not everything. Although it's usually quite decisive at Henley, it's proving not to be so this morning, because Henley Rowing Club, that is, have turned that early deficit into an early advantage, and they are now probably a third of a length up on the crew from Pangbourne College as we come down to about 700 metres gone. Of course, the drone footage providing us with excellent front row seats of all the racing that's going on this morning. We'll be live with you throughout the weekend at Henley Women's Regatta. We've got racing right up until the early evening today, and then on again at 8:30 tomorrow morning with all the finals. So we're bringing you a full programme of racing through the weekend. But just looking at this race as it goes down the course, as it develops, it does actually look like it's going to be quite a good race. As they approach the enclosures, it is still Henley who maintain a half a length lead, Greg. But I'm not sure if, do you reckon Pangbourne have got it in them to pull this back?
Well, all of these girls, of course, will have been involved in exams this year. And I just don't know how they do it, Tom, because they've been studying hard. They will have other responsibilities at schools or colleges, and they're training hard. So when you put all that together, I think they're doing a terrific job. I just think Henley, you can hear the calls for Henley. They'll have had calls all the way down the course, because they boat about half a mile away, just further up the river. And it's amazing to think, actually, if Martin's, and of course Martin is right, he has his finger on the pulse most of the time, and this isn't their top crew, but it just shows you the depth that Henley have got. And also, I keep going back to thank the coaches, and also what a terrific job the coaches are doing, because they are sculling. If this isn't their top boat, they're sculling beautifully, aren't they?
Yeah, really, really impressive. And yeah, as I said, it is all about depth at Henley Rowing Club. They have such a strong programme. Chris Boothroyd has got it down, so to speak, at Henley Rowing Club. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly how to turn out world-class athletes year upon year, right down from junior 14 up to the senior junior 18 category. These guys are demonstrating just what it means to row under Chris and his impressive programme at Henley Rowing Club. They're about a length up now on Pangbourne, still sculling well. And of course, what is always remarkable about these Henley crews is they do always scull well. They're not always the biggest girls. As you walk past them on the towpath or in the boating area, they're not particularly physically intimidating girls, but they just scull so well, and they're always taught to row together, row well in unison, and good things will come. And I think these Henley girls are testament to that. And they're stretching out their lead now, probably broken clear of Pangbourne College, who had a good start, but have faded a little bit in the second half of the race. And I think that must be a length and a half now to Henley Rowing Club.
Yeah, go back to how relaxed Henley are looking and how tight around the shoulders Pangbourne are looking as they try to get back onto level terms. Plenty of pedigree in the Pangbourne boat as well, Tom. That you would have perhaps on paper thought that they might have had a good go at this.
No, absolutely. As you said, the Giambroni twins were dominant at junior 15 and 16 level rowing for Walton Rowing Club. I'm not sure quite how they got into Pangbourne and what happened there, but I think Pangbourne would have been delighted to utilise their talents. But their talents are not being maximised here because it is Henley Rowing Club who are sculling away for what looks like not a comfortable win, but a win with something to spare here. Although it looks to me like Pangbourne are mounting a charge here as they come down the course. It's probably not all over. Look over from the bow girl there in the Pangbourne crew. There is a bit of a charge coming on here.
They've really upped the rate, haven't they? They're really going for it. And Henley will respond. Now, it's whether Pangbourne have left this too late. They're really pushing hard. That is such a fantastic bit of rowing by Pangbourne. Come right back on them and are now, Tom, in the lead by about, the canvas? That was close. That was close.
Really difficult to call.
What a terrific race.
Superb finish, I have to say.
Race.
I'd written off Pangbourne, but a fantastic spurt at the end there from those girls. So if you want a confirmation of those results, head to www.hwr.regattaresults.co.uk. The results will be up pretty quickly there from the finish tower. So we'll head back down to the start to find out what's going on in our first heat of the junior double sculls between Leicester Rowing Club and I'm